All right, 100 Statute 1770, Public Law 949, 9, October 17, 1986. All right, Part 7, Environmental Tax, Section 59A, Environmental Tax. Imposition and tax in case of the Constitution of the hereby, in addition to any of their tax imposed with the subtitle are equal to 12 hundredths of the percent of the except the amount of item alternative minimum tax income such corporation taxable year of $2 million modified alternative minimum table income of the proposed section and therefore modified alternative minimum tax income sum that means the alternative minimum tax income as defined in section 55B2 determined without regard to alternative tax operating less deduction as defined in section 56D and such that the deduction allowed under section 164A5 of the special rule short tax years. Application of the application of the section of the taxable year less than 12 months should be in accordance with the regulation prescribed in the section, by the Secretary. Section 15 does not apply with the section 15 does not apply with the tax imposed on the section. Application of the tax and general tax imposed in the section shall apply with the taxable years beginning with December 31st, 1986 before January 1st, 1992. Earlier determination tax imposed with the section shall not apply with the taxable years beginning during the calendar year during which no tax is imposed under section 4611A with the reason of the paragraph 2 with the section 4611E. Beginning after calendar year, which include the terminative day in paragraph 3 with the 4611E with the technical amendment, no credits allowed with the against the cast paragraph 2 with the section 26B with the subject of the amendment of the Tax Reform Act of 1986 with the amendment of the redesignation subparagraph E through J, subparagraph C through K, with respectively inserting after subparagraph A with the following new subparagraph B. Section 15A with the relating environmental tax. B. Paragraph 3 with the 936A with the subject goes over the amendment of the redesignation paragraph A, B, and C, subparagraph B, C, and respectively be inserting before the subparagraph B the redesignation following new subparagraph section 59A relating to environmental tax. Tax must be deducted in income tax purpose with the subsection A with the section 164 with the code relating to the deduction of the taxes is amended with inserting the after paragraph 4 with the following new paragraph of the environmental tax imposed with 59A subsection EA section 275 of the Justice Code is amended by adding thereof the following new sentence. Paragraph 1 shall not apply the tax imposed in section 59A. Limitation of the case of controlled corporations. Section 8 of the Section 1561 of the Justice Code relating to limitations or multiple tax benefits of the certain controlled corporations amendment of the Tax Reform Act of 1986 with the striking out at the end of the paragraph 2 with the striking of the period end of the paragraph 3 inserting the loop inserting the after paragraph 3 of the following new paragraph of the $2 million amount with the purpose of computing tax imposed with the 59A. Striking out the amount specified in paragraph 3 with inserting the loop thereof the amount specified in paragraph 3 the amount specified in paragraph 4. Amendment estimated with the provision. The taxable liable must be estimated with paragraph 1 with section 6154 subject over the amendment with the striking out at the end and the strike paragraph A with the striking out over and in the subparagraph B with inserting loop there over the and adding there over the following new subparagraph of the environmental tax imposed in 69A over the subsection A with the section 6151 subject over the amending striking out 11 and inserting section 11 to 59A. Conforming amendment overpayment of the estimated tax subparagraph A with the section 6425 C1 such for the code of the amendment of the Tax Reform Act of 1986 with the amendment of the striking out plus the end of the clause of the striking out over the end of the clause to do with inserting in lieu of the plus the adding the end of the new clause. The tax imposed in section 59A of the conforming amendment of the penalty failure to pay the estimated tax of the paragraph 16655 of the F of the such for the code defining the tax of the amendment of the striking out with the plus ending subparagraph A of the striking out with the over end of the subparagraph B with inserting in lieu thereof and by adding thereof the following new paragraph subparagraph of the tax imposed in 59A of the clerical amendment of the table of the part subchapter A of the chapter 1 subscope of the amendment of the adding the end of the thereof of the following a new item. Effective date. The amendment is made with the section showing the taxable years beginning after December 31st, 1986. It has with the substance of Superfund with the general chapter A with the chapter 96 and 98 of the Internal Rule of the 1986 for the relating to the establishment of the trust fund with amending the adding thereof of the 9506 for the relating to the following new section. Head of substance Superfund. Granting the trust fund established with the Treasury of the United States with the trust fund with the known, but it has substance Superfund with the here and end section referred to as the Superfund with consisting of such amount that may be as made as appropriate Superfund and provide with the section appropriate to Superfund and presume that section 517B with the Superfund Revenue Act of 1986 with the credit with the Superfund provide with the section 90602 with the B with the transfer of the Superfund thereby here appoint with the Superfund amount with the equivalent of the tax to refer receive the end treasurer under the section 59A. 4611 and 4661, 4671, relating to environmental tax amount to recover the behalf of the Superfund with the Comprehensive Emergency Response Compensation Liability Act 1988 here and after a section referred to as circular all monies recovered and collected under section 311 6B of the Clean Water Act penalty of the ISS under Title 1 circular with the punishment of the damage under section 107C 3 with the circular of the expenditure reform Superfund with in general with the amounts of the Superfund shall be available to provide appropriate actions of the appropriations of the acts only of the purpose of the may be expenditure care of the purpose of paragraph 1, 2, 5, and 6 of the section 111A with the circular is effective the day of the enactment of the Superfund amendment of the Reauthorization Act 1986, in section 111C, the circle is so in fact the other paragraph 1, 2, and there of section 3 of this of the 1M circle of this in fact the hereby authorized by the law, which does not authorize the expenditure of the Superfund general for the purpose of not covered until paragraph 8 of the fact of the exemption certain transfer of the FX has substance no amount of the Superfund derived from the Superfund available to use transfer to disposal of hazard waste carried out the pursuant cooperative agreement between the Administrative Environmental Protection Agency and the state of the following conditions apply with the transfer to disposal made on December 13th, 1985, to comply with the state and local requirements transfer of the facility to the final remember permit under Section 3005A with the Solid Waste Disposal Act issued on January 1st, 1983, before November 1st, 1984. Also, on the transfer of the facility identified the McColl site, Fullerton, California, authority of the borrower, the general, the authorized appropriate of the Superfund of the repayable advances such sums may be the necessary to care of the purpose of the Superfund limitation aggregated advance of the maximum aggregated amount of the repayable advance of the Superfund outstanding at one time shall not exceed the amount of the equal to the amount of the secretary is may be equal to some of the amounts appropriated Superfund under Section B1 during the Section 24-month period. All right, repayment advance and general advances unmade such that the fund shall be repaid in each of the advance shall be paid with the general fund, the treasury secretary to determine the money available for the purpose of the Superfund final repayment of no advances shall be made. The Superfund December 31st, 1991 shall be advanced. The Superfund shall be paid without before such date rate of the interest advance may be the Superfund rate determined the secretary with the treasury as over the calendar month proceed with the month of advance made with the equal to the current average market year of the outstanding market with the obligation of the United States for the remaining the period of the maturity comparable to the anticipated period during the advance of the outstanding shall be compounded annually. All right, liability United States limited amount of the Trust Fund General Rule, the end claim filed against the Superfund may be made only out to the Superfund coordinated with the other provision in the Circle of Superfund Amendment, Reauthorization Act of 1986 Amendment that may be either of such act that shall authorize payment of the United States government amount with respect to such claim in any sort other than the Superfund, or in which unpaid claim is to be made any of the time of the Superfund insufficient funds to pay to allow for the claim is to pay about with the Superfund, but at such time the claim shall be the extent of the period under paragraph 1 they be paid full order in which they were finally determined authorization appropriation authorized appropriated of any money with the treasurer not otherwise other appropriated hazardous substance Superfund fiscal years. And then 87 through 91 is $250 million for each year, and the official year amount equal to much of the aggregated amount authorized appropriated on subsection. Paragraph 2 of the 21 Hazardous Substance Response Act of 1980, in fact, the before repeal has not been appropriate at the beginning of the fiscal year with the conformed amendment, subtitle B with the Hazardous Substance Response Revenue Act of 1980, with the relating to establishment Hazardous Substance Report Response Trust Fund as amended the 204 Act, but this has repealed. Paragraph 111, Section 101, Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation Liability Act of 1980 is amended to reestablish the term fund and trust fund meaning that the hazardous substance food profound with established in 9507 Internal Revenue Code 1986 Circular Amendment of the Table Section Subchapter 8 of the Chapter 98 with the subject code and adding after the item relating to 90506 of the new item. Effective date in general, the amendments made with the section taken effect with January 1st, 1986. Superfund treated its continuation old trust fund that has substance Superfund established with amendments of the section shall be treated for the purpose of the law with the contamination hazard shall be the response trust fund established in the 221 head of the Substance Response Revenue Act of 1980. Any referencing the law with the hazard substance response trust fund established in section 221 shall be seen included whenever the appropriate reference of the hazard substance Superfund established an amendment is made in the section. All right, part 2, leaking underground store tank trust fund and its revenue sources.